What a final game. What a way to close out year one after having such negativity, having such a black cloud hanging over our head for what was that, 5 weeks? We finally got off the schneid and we ended the season in record break. I was about to say in crazy fashion, in record breaking fashion. As you can see, Cam Michael, single game record broken. Congratulations, Cam Michael has set the national single game receiving yards record. Check out the record screen for more details. And I can only imagine exactly how many more records has been broken. Because if he's broken national records, of course he's broken university records. He's broken conference records. But what a game. I was playing around saying that I was going to go for 40 receptions. Didn't think I'd come 6 receptions short. 34 receptions, 541 yards receiving. What was it, 7 touchdowns it was? Congratulations. Cam Michael has set the national single game receptions record. Again, like I said, if he set national records, of course, university records and conference records are going to be broken as well. Jesus Christ, I'm stumbling over my words like I usually do when I'm getting ahead of myself. But single game record broken again. Okay, here it is. Here's a university record. Congratulations. Cam Michael has set the Georgia Southern single game receiving yards record. So after having the terrible season that we had, which didn't even start out terrible, it started out really positive, looked like we were possibly going to make a push to make the college football playoff in year one, went completely sideways, but we closed it out in record-breaking fashion. Again, set the Georgia Southern single game receiving touchdowns record. And Cam Michael, like I said, if this doesn't catapult him into the Heisman Trophy conversation, I don't know what will. But he has been catapulted into the conversation. I'm talking about specifically catapult him to arguably the what should I say? What's the word I'm looking for? Unanimous victor, should I say? Arguably the unanimous victor. If this game doesn't catapult him up into that, I don't know what will. Congratulations, Cam Michael has set the Georgia Southern single game receptions record. Of course, next will be the Sun Belt Conference record. But Cam Michael, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he is a junior. So we have something positive to look forward to going into next season. And if we don't win the Heisman with him this season, that means we're going to go balls to the wall in year 2 to try to get him that Heisman Trophy, that coveted Heisman Trophy, and bring it home to Georgia Southern University. So is there another one? There's more. There's even more. Single game record broken. Yeah, here it is. Here now we're talking about the conference records being broken. Congratulations. Cam Michael has set the Sun Belt single game receiving touchdowns record. So when we get to the record screen, you're not going to see nothing but Cam Michael statistics or records sitting up there in every category, whether it be game. I'm pretty sure single season records as well. Here's another single game record. This one is a Sun Belt. Here's another conference one. This is the receptions record. So he set the national receptions record. He set the national receptions TD record, receiving TD. I don't think he set the national receiving TD. I think he tied the national single game receiving TD record. And okay, here we are. Now we have a single season record broken. Congratulations, Cam Michael has set the Sun Belt single season receiving yards record. So again, a historical season. What started off as a traumatizing season ends up in a historical season, albeit by a 6-6 record, but single season record broken again. Sun Belt single season receiving touchdowns record. Here you go. And again, soon as we get out of this, soon as we're done looking at all of these accolades that we've obtained, is there another one? There's even more. It just doesn't stop. They just keep piling up. Cam Michael has set the Sun Belt single season receptions record. So what record has he not broken? What record did he not break just off of those last 2 games of the regular season? And there's another one. Okay, good. It's not Cam Michael anymore, but it's Turner Helton. Who would have thought this? Single game record broken. Turner Helton has set the Georgia Southern single game passing yards record. Now, this guy right here is a guy who, when he got in early, we were relying on him because of his speed. But the first time he got a chance to prove himself, what did he throw? Like 5-6 interceptions against Clemson? And every time he got in the game, it seemed like he threw interceptions. And now he's breaking records. He set the Georgia Southern single game passing touchdowns record as well. So what a way to go out for Turner Helton. I wish he wasn't a senior and we can play with him in year 2, pause. But at least if he's going to go out, he's going to go out owning a couple of records, which I don't imagine those records will last long. Because now that we're finally starting to find our groove, whoever is our next quarterback, I'm sure we're going to break all of these records that we just set with Turner Helton. So Turner Helton has set the Georgia Southern single season passing touchdowns record. So again, didn't even start the year. But when he did get in the game, looked terrible, had to pull him right back out, had to put Max Johnson back in. And now to be at this point where he's holding single season record, single season passing touchdowns record, single game record. What a way to finish this year. Again, 59-13. We completely mollywopped La Tech. And it was just the Turner Helton and Cam Michael show. And as you can see, player of the game, Cam Michael, if he wasn't player of the game, I don't know who would have been. Well, I guess you could have said Turner Helton would have been, but it was the Cam Michael show. And as you can see, 632 total yards to their 276, 569 passing to their 267. We even had more rushing yards, and we didn't rush for many, 63 rush yards to their 9. What a way to close the season. I wish we had a bowl game that we could take this momentum into, but unfortunately, we do not. And again, Cam Michael not even in the conversation. Hopefully, we can. I thought he was in. I could have sworn I saw him in the conversation, but apparently he wasn't. But this should put him into the conversation, but not just into the conversation, near the top, I would imagine. But single season yards, 1,700 for Turner Helton. I wasn't really paying attention to the touchdowns, but let's see, receiving. So 1,715 yards and 18 TDs for Cam Michael on just 115 receptions, 14.9 yards per reception. Defensively, we had MJ Stroud finish the season with 14 sacks. So hell of a year for MJ Stroud, but 18 TDs passing for Turner Helton and 13 TDs for Max Johnson. Excuse me, I'm all over the place. But let's see what the national statistics look like. So nationally, they got a couple people near the top. Sam Levitt, 26. Rushing. So Hardy, I don't see any of our guys in there. Where is Badinga? Okay, so there's Badinga. Badinga is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Badinga finished the year 7th in rushing. And again, if we had another game that we could play, I'm pretty sure he would be much higher. So because we don't have a game or a bowl game we could play, and because some of these other teams probably will, he may just fall. He won't finish the season being 7th. But receiving wise, Cam Michael stands far and above every other receiver in the nation by at least 600 or nearly 600 yards. 1,715 yards. The next best is 1,152. And as far as receiving touchdowns, he leads the nation in that as well with 18. Next best is 15. So, and Rack is 1,584. Next best is 456. And that had everything to do with those bubble screens to him. And like I said, all you have to do is get the ball in his hands and let him do work. Let him follow his blocks. His speed is going to do the rest. But a phenomenal season, a phenomenal close. I'm not going to say a phenomenal season, a phenomenal close to the season. Let's go check out some of these records. Again, you're probably going to see nothing but Cam Michael's name on all of these records. So let's see. Career-wise, excuse me, goodness gracious. Okay, so game-wise, receiving yards in a game that is now Cam Michael with 541 set in 2026. So receptions, Cam Michael, 34. Again, his name is plastered there again. So receiving touchdowns, let's see, receiving touchdowns, 7. Yeah, see, I knew it. I knew we didn't set the national. We tied the national record. Rashawn Woods got 7 touchdowns in a game in 2003. God damn it. I knew I should have tried to go one more time. Should have just tried. Well, we did. We went down to the last second to get that 7 touchdowns. So, damn, it's going to take a lot to try to get 8 touchdowns. But single season receiving touchdowns, La Tech. See, I knew there was one of these where somebody did it in our conference. Troy Edwards, La Tech, in 1998 had 27 touchdowns in a single season as far as receiving touchdowns is concerned. But let's see, where's our conference at? Sunbelt. There we go. All right, so looking at Sunbelt records, Georgia, there you go. You got a lot of Cam Michael there. So there you go. Receiving yards, 1,700, 715. Oh, why did I say 1,700, 715? 1,715. And then you had 115 receptions on the year with Cam Michael. And then finishing the year out with 18 TDs. Unfortunately, we can't go another game. Otherwise, we would extend that even more. But Troy, Javon Solomon in 2023 ended up with 16 sacks. So we got some ways to go to try to break the sack record. Getting sacks this year isn't as easy as it was in the prior 2 college football iterations. But here you have it. Sun Belt, single game, receiving yards record. Georgia Southern, Cam Michael set that 541. Receptions, Cam Michael. Receiving TDs, Cam Michael with 7. Damn, see, we would have owned every record if we would have been able to pull off the 8 touchdowns in a single game. It's just crazy when you factor that in, that some of these records, some of these college football records are real records. You would look at it and think that they were video game records, but no, they're actually real records. I don't remember what the receiving yards record was before we broke it. I think it was somewhere like 399 or something like that. But the fact that it was that before, and it's the same thing with the rushing record. So look at here. So we're looking at Cam Michael. Yeah, sure. But rushing yards by Adrian Peterson. I guess there was another Adrian Peterson that played for Georgia Southern in 1999, 333 yards. The national record is like 440 something or something along those lines, something crazy like that. But as you can see, Turner Helton's in there, 7 TDs in one game. Cam Michael, 7 receiving in one game. So a lot of records broken, a lot of accomplishments, a great way to close out what was a poor season, to finish it out in the manner that we had finished it out in historical fashion. Brings me some kind of joy knowing that I can take this momentum into year 2 and we can feed off of this. But it's already been about 12, 13 minutes, so we can go ahead and cut this right here. We'll start the end of the season or off-season rendition of this rebuild on the next episode. As always, if you're here for the first time or you're returning and you haven't liked or subscribed already, please do so. Click that notification tab so you can stay up to speed with more of this Georgia Southern rebuild, as well as other College Football 27 content. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. That's been my time. Till next time. Peace.